So then as we continue to talk about the pay-per-views, Macho would work again with Dusty at SummerSlam. But then Survivor Series 1990, Dusty Rhodes is on the babyface team, and there is a debut heel character on the opposite side of the ring, and it's Kane the Undertaker. And then that was pretty much the beginning of the end for Dusty. Kind of tell us your memories about, Mean Mark Callis then debuting at that Survivor Series and Dusty's involvement in that match, because they would have certainly crossed paths in the past. Did anybody have any sort of issue with putting over this new guy so strong? And then kind of what was the exodus for Dusty from the WWF?
I remember that, obviously, but there was no problem at all with making sure that everybody in that match, that match was designed to get The Undertaker over in a huge debut and to make him look like a killer in there. And Dusty was a big part of that. It may have been the fact that I just whipped Dusty's ass so bad on the outside of the ring that night that he had to leave in shame, having Brother Love have him whoop his ass on the outside of the ring, that maybe that's why he had to stick his tail between his legs and leave. But no, actually what Dusty left, Dusty had an opportunity to go back to Atlanta in a booking position. And he went to Vince and says, hey, they got a shake up down here, and I've been offered my old job back. And Vince wouldn't stand in his way.
Now, here's my question. We started this conversation, and I do want to circle back to Dustin for a minute, but I want to follow up on that thought right there, because we started this conversation by talking about, Vince didn't really make guarantees on contracts, and we just talked through what the Vince pitch was, and it was kind of understood that most guys would believe they would make more money, and you said in most cases they do. So if this is for more money and he's making more money right now, why the hell would he want to go back to his old job?
Power and the lure of more money there.
So he felt like the booking position there would pay more than a performer with dolls and magazines and everything else.
Right.
Okay.
Because he was in charge, and he was also working and in a position to put himself in a top position and be a part of everything.
Which he didn't do when he went back, by the way.
He went back as a booker, but no, I don't think he
didn't book himself into anything.
He didn't book himself into that, no.
So the last, sort of time we'll see him on WWF TV for a long time is the Royal Rumble 1991, right around that early 1991 period, and he's tagging with Dustin Rhodes. Is there any sort of irony in the fact that they are wrestling Ted DiBiase and Virgil on his way out? That it's Virgil versus Virgil? Is there any real thought put into that? Because that, too, to me, seems like a rib. That Virgil Runnels' last pay-per-view match is against a character, manservant, that was also named Virgil after him.
Absolutely not, because we had done the program with DiBiase and brought Dustin in, and it was just conclusion to that program.
How does that come about? Does Dusty recommend Dustin coming to New York, or does Vince ask about him?
No, Dusty recommended him. He was in Kansas City at the time, and we were coming through there, and we actually put him on some of the house shows that we had, and Dustin did a hell of a job. So we brought him in and did a little something with him at the time.
Why was there not a play to try to keep him or do something bigger with him, and just instead of just letting him go back with his dad?
Because Dusty wanted him back.
Okay.
Dusty wanted him to come with him, and out of respect to Dusty. That's the other thing that people don't always realize with Vince McMahon is, I know there's times that he's maybe gone back on his word with some people, but for the most part, if he gives you his word that he's going to do something, he'll do it. And he's fair, and he really doesn't do things out of malice.
Right.
There's exceptions to that rule, obviously. But Dusty had an opportunity to go back, and it's what he was going to be happy doing, having the booking position in Atlanta. And Vince was like, if you're going to be happier there, I don't want somebody here that's going to be unhappy.
Right.
And, If your son feels more comfortable being there, working with you, and you want him, I'm not going to stand in his way either. So those are things that he's done a lot of times over the years that people don't realize, and they wonder, well, that doesn't make any sense. It did, because for the right business reasons of having a happy camper or an unhappy camper, go ahead and, if you got an unhappy camper, get him out of camp.
Yeah, that makes sense.